So basically, you can do three things with your abs. You can build them, you can reveal them, and you can tighten the look of them. So here's what I mean. So when it comes to building the abs, these are a muscle just like any other muscle in the body, so we build them the same way. We progressively overload with resistance, we add enough volume that we can recover from, and we keep doing it over time. Provided you're eating in a slight calorie surplus or maintenance, we're gonna build the muscle. So what we're doing is we're increasing the size of the muscle. So this means, from a visual standpoint, they're gonna be a bit more blocky. So it's gonna be like deeper looks of the abs, and it basically makes them protrude through the fat a little bit easier. So let's, this is a photo of me. I always use this photo. This is a photo of me when I was younger, about 15, 16. I dieted and I couldn't get abs because basically I wasn't lean enough for one, but my abs weren't big enough. So they weren't poppy, they weren't blocky enough. If I had bigger abs at that time, if I had have trained them and built the muscle, they would have protruded through a little bit more and you wouldn't have seen my ribs as much and it would have been a better six pack. So that's kind of why I didn't have a six pack, is because my abs weren't big enough. Now, some people will try to burn the body fat by training their abs and by going 50 reps of abs. It's not a thing, okay? Don't even worry about it. But training your abs has the sole purpose of growing the muscle. That's it. If you don't want bigger muscle in your six pack, don't train your abs. But for me, I like to train them because I feel like growing the abs gives them a blockier look, deeper cuts, and it looks better. So when you're training the abs, you basically just need to train it like every other muscle. I will go 10 to 20 reps per set with around 12 to 20 sets per week. If you can do more, that's great. If you want to do them once a week, 20 sets a week, that's fine, but optimally hit them twice a week, or reduce the volume per session and hit it more frequently, maybe every day or every second day. The most important thing is the weekly sets here. That's what we're manipulating, that's the volume. Now, when I am training abs, I will choose one exercise to overload and target the rectus abdominis, which is the six pack. Now, I use this ab crunch pad for that. This is my favorite. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. Basically, it allows you to get a big stretch and then you can get a great squeeze. You can use weights to overload and increase resistance, but this is a killer for the entire midsection. If you want to choose one exercise, go with the ab crunch mat. Then I'll add in a hanging leg raise variation, working a little bit more on my obliques and core strength stability. And finally, I will do some vacuum work. Now, this allows me to have greater control of my midsection, pulling it in with the illusion of a tighter waist. So you cannot really shrink your waist, but if you can work the TVA, which is the muscle behind your abs, like it's like a belt, if you can work that, that can bring everything in a little bit. So the way that I train that is through vacuums. I will vacuum the house daily, all day until my house is spotless and there literally isn't a bit of dust in your house. If there's still dust in your house, you can have a fat waist for the rest of your life. Have fun with that. No, seriously though, this, I do vacuum. So the way that you do a vacuum is that you breathe all your air out, and then you're gonna suck in when you have no air left, and you're gonna try to bring your belly button to your spine. Just hold it. You might only hold it for 2 seconds, that's fine. Relax, have a breath, breathe out again, hold. You're gonna keep doing that on and off. So obviously you're gonna run out of breath here. That's why we do it in little intervals. That's why you might have a couple of seconds where you're catching your breath, then you'll go again. But I'll do that for around 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 5 minutes a day. Honestly, do that as much as you like. You can do that throughout the whole day if you want. Just the better you can get at really squeezing it in, the easier it is. So if you're struggling with this, you're gonna do it with the easiest possible variation, which is on the floor when gravity's on your side and you're just gonna be lying on your back and pulling your midsection to the floor. The next step from this might be on your knees, kneeling, leaning up against something, and finally doing it standing. So if you can't do it standing, don't worry about it. If you wanna make this a little bit easier, it's gonna be easier the lower your body fat is. So when I'm dieting, I do it all the time because it means I have less resistance. There's less weight that I have to actually tighten. So if you have a bit of weight on you, these are gonna be harder. It's the way it is. So start maybe on the floor doing them. Again, if you have a full stomach, it's gonna be hard because you're pulling in everything. So if you wanna make these easy, first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach, start with the floor and then progress to standing. So this isn't really gonna shrink your waist, but if you know how to do this, it's gonna give that look. It's gonna give that illusion that you're kind of pulling everything in. Especially when you get leaner, you can tense your abs, and then you can also do this little extra tense where it kind of brings your waist in. It's quite cool. Now, I don't like to overdo obliques. I feel like if you wanna build that muscle, then fine, add in some oblique work. But me personally, I don't really want large obliques, so I tend to just train the six pack, the rectus abdominis. Now that is basically it in terms of abs. Now we're gonna move into cardio, and basically cardio in the world of fat loss. Cardio is a tool used to increase the amount of energy you burn. The more calories you burn relative to what you eat, the more fat you burn. So this will allow you to reveal the abs without needing to restrict your calories too much. In other words, the more calories you burn, the more food you can still eat during a dieting phase. And this doesn't mean you can just go for a run and eat 5,000 calories worth of shit, but it means that you can have more food to fuel your body and your workouts better and basically get in more nutrients. So this is a better end of the spectrum, is eating more and burning more as opposed to burning less and then eating less. When it comes to the type of cardio you do, that is entirely up to you. Just know that all cardio is not created equal, and you will burn more calories doing something more demanding, like a stepper, sprint, or an incline walk, as opposed to walking outside on the flat. So when I'm just starting a fat loss phase, I'll do my cardio outside. It's very easy, probably 20 minutes, a few times a week, and then increase the duration and also the intensity. Wind, good. Completely fuck up my audio, yes. The deeper I get into a cut, the harder my cardio will get. So with that said, let's talk about a few tricks that I use to make my cardio more enjoyable and easier. So the first trick that I like to do when I'm doing cardio is what I like to call crossing the chasm. Now, if you've done business school or anything, you'd be like, hang on, isn't that to do with product development? And yeah, it is. But basically what it is, it's like getting past that point that just sucks. So if you're doing cardio and think, okay, the first 10, 15 minutes is pure hell. If you can get past that, you can keep going. So instead of thinking to yourself, oh, I've got 30 minutes, I've got 40 minutes of this to get through, it's gonna feel terrible. Just set yourself a little challenge. Let's get through that first bit. Let's just get through 15 or 20 minutes. Then reassess. If you get through that 15, 20 minutes and you're still hating life and this is the worst thing ever, then I'd just say get off. Go do something else. You're clearly not ready to do the cardio yet. I mean, it's not that much of a big deal. You can do it later. I mean, if you're really not feeling it, fine, listen to your body. But for the most part, it's usually that first bit that just sucks. Get through that and the rest will be a lot easier. Now, my next tip is to change it up. We're gonna shock the mind here. So shocking the body was so like 20 years ago. We're gonna shock the mind. Now what I do is when I'm doing really hard cardio, let's say, when I say really hard, I basically mean anything that's more challenging than walking outside on a flat, okay? So maybe like incline treadmill walking, Stairmaster, bike, whatever it is. One thing I found when I'm doing this is that I will get used to whatever I'm doing. My body and my mind will adapt immediately. So let's say I'm doing walking at 12% incline, so it's like medium, and about 5 kilometers an hour, okay? So let's say I'm doing that. In the beginning, it'll feel fine. I'm like, this is easy, this is fine. Then all of a sudden, I'll be like, this is starting to get hard. That's my new point of reference for what's challenging, because I start to feel, oh, my legs feel a bit heavy, this is a bit difficult, whatever. So as soon as that happens, when I start feeling like, oh shit, this is a bit difficult, I actually make it harder. Now this is like, seems counterintuitive because you'd be like, hang on, but if you're feeling like it's difficult, why would you make it more difficult? And that's purely the reason, is because you can kind of create a new reference point of what's actually difficult, right? So what I'll do is I'll do intervals. Now I'll go a minute of regular, so say 5 kilometers an hour, 12% incline, and then I'll do a minute of really difficult. Now this will be like max incline, as fast as I can walk, like 6 kilometers an hour, pretty much as fast as I can waddle. And then I'll do that for a minute and then go back to the original speed. Now, doing that, as soon as you get back to that 12 and 5, I just call it 12 and 5. As soon as you get back to that 12% incline, 5 kilometers an hour, you'll be like, wow, this is easy, this is a rest. And it'll feel like it's a different speed and setting to where you had it on before. But really, it's just like, you've gotten used to that, oh shit, now this is hard. Then you get back to the normal one and like, this is easy. So that is really, really good. So that burns more calories, obviously, because you're increasing the intensity for half of the time. And also it makes it so much easier to stick to because it changes it up and it makes it feel like it's not just the same thing for 40 minutes straight or whatever it is. So I really, really enjoy doing that. Now I will go through different kind of like intervals of just varying what I do. Now I will do incline walking fast. That's probably the easiest because it's just there. And sometimes if it's really challenging and I feel like I really don't want to get through this cardio, I'll grab some dumbbells and do farmer's carries for a minute. Now this is really difficult because you feel like you just want to drop the dumbbells. Now, granted, if you do this in the middle of a busy gym, you might get some weird looks, but also, fuck them. It doesn't really matter, who even cares? Now, what this is gonna do, guys, is like I said, it is gonna kind of retrain your brain of what's actually difficult. Now, it also keeps your mind busy because you're not having to think, oh, this is just the same shit the whole time. You have to be conscious, increase the speed, do all that. And I just do it minute by minute. I just keep doing that, and I've found this to be the best way for me to stick to my cardio routine, especially when it gets difficult, and it really, really makes it harder, and it kind of makes it more fun as well. And also on that, you don't want to go too hard too early, because if you just do it and say, okay, I'm doing it an hour every day in the gym, you'll do it for a week and you're like, this sucks, and you'll get over it. So what you need to do is start slow, just so you can really solidify those habits. And a really good way of doing that is just to go outside, go for a walk outside, start to make a part of your day, then you'll do it every day. So for me now, I've done cardio every day for literally as long as I can, not as long as I can remember. I didn't do it when I was 4, but I've done cardio every day for like the past 2 years probably, because it's just been a normal thing. Now that I'm getting leaner, I've started to go, okay, instead of going outside today, I'm gonna do it on the treadmill and do my intervals and stuff. So then I will increase the intensity. So basically when you have cardio, you can increase the intensity to burn more calories, or you can increase the duration, or you can increase the frequency. These are just more, it's the same as like normal volume. You can increase the intensity and you can increase the amount that you're doing things. So for that, it's minutes on the treadmill, and it's also how difficult those minutes are. So basically they're the variables you can play around with, but definitely guys, if you're just starting, start small. Don't just jump into my hard cardio routine if you're just fresh off, because then you kind of got nowhere to go. You'd rather start outside, see the results, Instead of going to an hour outside, you might go 30 minutes on the treadmill on a bit of an incline, something like that. But again, also do what you enjoy. I mean, I don't mind just smashing it out on the treadmill and getting a sweat up and actually feeling pretty good. I don't mind that. And there's days when I just want to go outside, and so I'll do that. So yeah, listen to your body. That's another important thing too, is try not to force things. But yeah, it just comes down to building those good habits anyway. Now guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and took something out of it. If you did learn something, or at least moderately enjoyed it, please give the video a like and leave me a lovely comment below, because I do read the comments and I'll try to get back to them as much as I can. But that is it for me guys, and you definitely know what to do. Stay nice.
Slide into your DMs in the PM and the AM. Then I slide into your feelings when you see just what I'm saying.